Hello, welcome to the When I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank, and I'll be sitting here talking to you as usual. Um, what I'm wearing is not important. Anyway, it's 4 a.m. and I've decided to talk on a microphone. Um, and that's all I have to say. So I'll talk to you later. Anyway. I wanted to talk about K-pop a little bit, and also I'm just testing out the mic to see if it's picking up background noise. But anyway, so real quick, K-pop. K-pop started in 1992, and it's still going on now. And we've talked about this before. K-pop is broken down into generations because there's a excuse me like there's a cultural change, so like music kind of sounds different. Like we had, like in the early 90s, we had hair bands, and we had like Guns N' Roses, okay, and then like Nirvana got all big, and that was like a cultural change. It was like a new generation of music, and then they kind of overlap, so you get the gist of it. So anyway, the first generation of K-pop was 1992 through 2006. And then the second generation of K-pop was 2007 up until 2015. And the third generation is 2016 through 2020. Well, generation 4, the fourth generation of K-pop has started. It started. Let me tell you when it started. April 28th of 2021. It started with the rookie girl group Hot Issue. So we are officially in the fourth gen of K-pop. I doubt that means anything to anyone, but I don't know. To me, it's a big deal, and I also like how the generations, like, well, according to my results or research, whatever, they're getting smaller and smaller, which is good. Which it just means that music is evolving, at least in the K-pop industry, which is a good thing because Generation 3 is just noise now. And I'm going to use a group that I love. How can I say this? Like my, whatever, like they're in my top 5 groups. ITZY, they're a Generation 3 group. And they're labeled as noise K-pop because they're very like abrasive, like musically and vocally. I mean, they have lots of good songs, but a lot of their songs have a lot of like excess noise that just makes no sense. Like, well, and then I can't play it on here because it'll get copyright strike. But if you look up ITZY's latest single, what, like Swipe? Yeah, Swipe. It has like this like static in it, and they play that for the pre-chorus, and it's just really annoying, and it takes away from the song. But like lots of third gen groups do this, and that's why the third gen only lasted 4 years. you know, the beginning of third gen was when Blackpink came out. That was like the first third gen K-pop group. So and then even Blackpink is kind of like abrasive. I'm sure you can tell by their music. Like some of their songs, there's like extra background noise, and then sometimes the like the vocals just clash with the music, you know, and a lot of people complain, but hence that's why this third generation didn't last that long, which is fine. But I mean, Blackpink is successful because they do have good songs, but the thing with Blackpink, they don't have a lot of songs. Okay, so maybe a few songs are abrasive, but because they don't have that many songs, they get less complaints about their songs. They get complaints that they don't have enough songs. See, so YG is smart by limiting how much music Blackpink puts out. And then another thing that Blackpink has, as an advantage over other third gen groups, is that Blackpink, they only have four members, and each member is a visual. And we have discussed this before. In K-pop, groups are usually only as popular as their visual. So Blackpink has four visuals. So is it no surprise that they're the most popular girl group on the planet? I mean, it's no surprise to me. And so I'm just letting you guys know. Maybe one person listening cares that the fourth gen has started, but I mean, I'm looking forward to this though, because I love ITZY. It's just like their previous comeback, Mafia in the morning. I think the comeback was called Loco, right? I don't know. I forgot what their last comeback was called. Hmm. I'm just gonna look it up real quick, just because I'm sitting by the computer. I know this is really exciting radio. Okay, it was called Guess Who, and the album that just came out is called Loco. Anyway, so Guess Who was not a good comeback. The Their title tracks were not good singles, and they were very abrasive. A lot of people complained, and that's why it was their least successful comeback. On and ITZY is notorious for having better B sides. In instead of their singles, like their B sides are better, but it is what it is. But yeah, so like ITZY peaked at Not Shy, and then they put out Mafia in the morning, and it just wasn't that good, and so they lost a lot of steam, and then they put out Loco. Well, it's called Crazy in Love. They put out Loco, and it's a lot better than Guess Who. The only problem is they lost a lot of steam, But that's neither here nor there. But ITZY did do the smart thing. They're putting a lot of focus on Yuna and having her be the center. And remember, I was saying, and I've said this a million times, groups are usually only as popular as their center. And why do I like ITZY? Because of Yuna. And I have sang her praises since day one. Like the first time I saw Yuna was, obviously in the Icy video, and like wasn't that like 2 years ago? And like when I saw her, yeah, it was back in July of 2018. Okay, and like seeing her back then, I'm like, okay, this girl is hella fine, hella sexy, great body. But the thing is, they didn't have her be in the center. I mean, she was the visual, but they have Rujin as the center. And Rujin's good looking, but she's kind of tomboyish, still hot. It's just that the average man likes feminine women. Like Yuna's feminine all the way through. Like Rujin is, obviously she looks like a girl, but she's just not as feminine, and guys like girls. That's just how it is. We just gotta deal. But anyway, at least the new comeback, they are really focusing on Yuna, because they have to make up for all the album sales and like fans and interests that they lost. And what sells the most, folks? Sex sells, looks sell. So that's why we're getting lots of Yuna, and we're getting lots of you'll be surprised, We're getting a lots of Cheryong because Cheryong has a really nice body. And I think her face is cute too, but apparently a lot of Korean citizens don't like her face. That's why I didn't mention her face. But you can read countless message boards about Cheryong, and like people just roast her. Like apparently her ears are too big, which doesn't make sense because I've seen plenty of idols that are considered good looking and have ears just like her. So I mean, I don't know, but it is what it is. But anyway, now I'm also doing this at 4 a.m. just because I wanted to see if it's any different doing a podcast at 4 a.m. But apparently it's not. It's the same. Um, Shows you my intelligence that I thought there would be a difference between talking at 4 a.m. or whatever instead of 2 in the afternoon. What's wrong with me? I don't know. Oh, okay. So I've been keeping track of my weight. Not that I have a weight problem. Well, actually, I can't wait to do this line, but I don't have a weight problem, but I'm trying to see how low I can go. So right now I weigh under 150. So I'm trying to figure out like, do I want to look really good and go full on anorexic, or do I just want to look like a heroin addict? I'm not sure, but right now my main goal is to look like a heroin addict. My stretch goal is anorexic. Okay, so wish me luck. Oh my god. Oh, and so I saw this ad. Yeah, and I've seen it a bunch of times. No, not the one for erectile dysfunction. It was an ad to do a stand-up comedy. What do you call it? Stand-up comedy class. It's not a class though. It's called something else. I haven't been involved in acting in so long. Workshop, a stand-up comedy workshop in Culver City. I've done stand-up comedy, obviously, and so I was like, I got nothing to do. Like, why don't I go sign up for that? Just why not? And then I'm always down to learn stuff, even if it's stuff I already know. But I wrote them a letter saying I'm anti-vax, I'm anti-mask mandates. I'm just anti-mandates. If this workshop requires any of those things, I don't want to be involved because I avoid and don't give those places my business. And that's what all of us have to start doing. But I'll let you think about that. And I bet you they're not gonna respond because that's not the first time I've done that, where I've said all that, and a lot of times you just don't get a response, which is fine. I get it. They've they just don't want to have a back and forth, but and considering I sent it a while ago and I haven't, yeah, see, like the fact that I haven't got a letter back yet means or a response back means that they require mask and whatever. And who wants to do stand-up comedy wearing a mask? And like, who wants to be in a club with a bunch of people wearing a mask? It just really takes away from the vibe. It's like I don't know. I don't understand. Well, actually I do understand, because some people, well, no, a lot of people are mad that the government lied to them about you know, being able to like live a normal life once you comply. And that's why they're like, the average Joe citizen is taking stuff out on the independent, intelligent citizens like me and like you, who are not complying to the bullshit. what, which is fine. I don't mind doing things alone. Well, I've been doing that for a while. And I also don't mind only doing things with like-minded people who think our freedoms mean more than a pointless, and it is pointless, because Dr. Falsey, in his leaked emails, he said the masks don't work, but then he enforces a mask mandate. So I'm over the bullshit. I'm completely done. Granted, I've been done since the 2 weeks to stop the spread, and you can go back and listen to podcasts, and I was done back then. It's just that I just thought by now that people in power, like other people, would have already put an end to this. But either it's either the person who's really in control is like really in control, and it's just everyone's on the same side and it's just a show. Because like Rand Paul and Ted Cruz come off as they're on our side, and they're both against the mandates. Talking all they give lots of good speeches. They both rip Pelosi. They both rip Biden. They both rip Dr. Falsey. But there's no change going on. It's just all talk. So I mean, even them, I don't really know if they're on our side, but they're doing a lot of talking. But at least with me, I'm doing my part by just not supporting things that you know encrypt. Why did I say that? Anyway, that that overstep the boundaries and impede our freedoms. Okay. Oh my God, I had a Cliff Clavin moment today. There's this kid, and I believe him, I guess, but he said he was afraid of wolves, and he and I don't know why a person would be afraid of wolves if they never even like been around one. You're like a city kid. Like, when do you ever see a wolf? But I had one of those moments like, well, actually, because like I've actually worked with wolves before. I used to work at a dog place called Cage-Free Canine Camps. It's it's just a cage-free doggy daycare in Los Angeles, and the owner, like her ex-husband, owned domesticated wolves. Like, they're wolves, but since puppies they were raised by two humans instead of like a pack of wolves. But anyway, so they're basically like gigantic dogs. So like at least the two wolves I was working with. So imagine a dog a little bit bigger. Well, I mean, imagine a Great Dane. Okay. Well, these wolves were like a little bit bigger than your average Great Dane. Like, they were giant, but they were still domesticated. So it's not like they were like trying to kill us, but like when they barked and got mad, it was a lot different than the other dogs because they were just bigger, but they were still domesticated. So like like I wasn't afraid of them. If I put them in their place, I'd like grab them by the collar and go like sit the fuck down, all that. I treat them like a regular sized dog. But man, people at my job were scared shitless, and like, if I remember correctly, like 5 people ended up quitting because they were just afraid because like the dogs were like living there because the owner, like, I mean, like, he went on because they were like super rich. They went on like a 2 month vacation, and then when they came back, they didn't want the dogs back, but they're still paying for it. So like these two wolves were like these two wolves were there for like 8 months, and like they finally got rid of them just because people were quitting. And when I say got rid of them, I have no idea what they did with them, but they just disappeared one day. And the only thing I know is that the owner did not take them. I'm just assuming that the owners of the business though that I worked at probably just took them to the forest or something like that and just like let them go, because like, who the hell wants two wolves? Like, who has the you know just the proper, you know, like amount of space, like, just it takes a lot to have a pet wolf. It's, they eat a lot more than like a regular dog. You don't feed them dog food. Like you feed them like, like feed them like steaks, It's like expensive. And then you get two of them. So, well, it is what it is. But, like who would have thought that I had experience working with wolves, you know? But yeah, and like those, and I remember their dogs. Their name was Sasha and I forgot the other one's name, but like they both had like Russian names. One was Sasha and like I want to say like Victor. I want to say that, but anyway. And also one of my favorite memories of working at that place was there was this girl Jennifer Kim who worked there. She was this lovely, I mean lovely, Korean girl, chick, lady, female, born, and I mean a female, not like one of these LGBTD ABCD P. I'm wearing a wig. You have to pretend that I'm really a woman. No, no. Like she was like a real woman, like a chick, a female, a dame, a hot chick. She was about 5'3", really skinny, great shape, Korean chick. She was tan, so in her home country she's considered ugly. But anyway, she was hot to me. I'll never forget. And we were friends, but it is what it is. But I just remember her telling me that she didn't like guys like me, but she didn't say my name, but she described a guy just like me. I'll never forget that. It was amazing. She literally described a guy just like me, and she's like, I'm not gonna go into the details of her describing it. Just you know who I am. And then she said, "Yeah, I don't like guys like that." I was like, I'm like, how did you know? But anyway, but once again, like I'm a visually stimulated person. It's not like I tried to make a move on her. I liked her. She could probably tell, but it didn't change the way I acted towards her because I wasn't gonna date her. I had a girlfriend at the time anyway. But it's hard to hide feelings when you're thinking about doing her when you're sitting right next to her. I wasn't really thinking that, but I was thinking something that I'm not gonna say. Um, but anyway, I'll give you a hint. Think of Emma Stone. But anyway, Jenny got married though, and the thing is, I remember one time we were doing an overnight together, like like you spend the night at the dog place to watch dogs, like we were doing it together, and I'll never forget. She gave me this with like 10-minute speech about why it's better to be single and how you should stay single for like the rest of your life. She's just like single's better. And one of the reasons why I'm single is because of her. Is because of that speech. Because it was a combination of like this girl I really liked, was really attracted to, and I thought, oh, the only thing you have to do is make a move because like we were really good friends. It's just that I had a girlfriend, which I have no problem cheating, so that's not an issue. But just her saying out the blue, she doesn't like guys like me, and then that speech, a very convincing speech about why single is better. I'm like, okay, and it really changed my mindset. So that's kind of the start of me going MGTOW. Was literally God, how many years ago was that? I don't know. That was like, God, I mean, maybe that was 15 years ago, you know, where it changed my mentality. Now, I know you're thinking, yeah, but you said you had a girlfriend at the time. Well, not really. You heard the last pod. Well, oops, you did it because these are recorded in advance. I had a vlog where I talk about this girlfriend. So yeah, I didn't even care about this girl. So I was kind of single anyway. But yeah, so like, I've been in MGTOW for about 15 years. And it's partly because of this lovely Korean girl that I liked who said, don't get married, and she would never date a guy like me. So it kind of just like, okay, no point. But, seeing her wedding pictures and her two kids now, you know, it doesn't change the way I feel because I've been feeling this way for years. It's just that she has always been a constant thought in my mind when I reject a woman because I'm like, oh, well, I just go back to that speech. It was a very convincing speech because it was logical. It wasn't emotional. And so, like, when a woman actually uses logic, oh, that really catches my attention because, like, women are just so emotional. But I guess, but it worked out because I don't have any kids, thank God. I don't have to deal with just the bullshit, and what's the one thing everyone doesn't like about their boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife? It's the extended family. I hate that shit. And like I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that, you know? I'm too busy, being in awe of me. And I don't have time to like pretend to care about anyone else. Oh my god. But anyway, isn't that wonderful? You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace.